Open Media Vault. Log in. I believe it is time for you to take a nap. It's been good, but it's time to upgrade. Now, I've never talked about it before on my channel, but I have my own Plex server, and as you can tell, I have 5 hard drives in here right now, technically 6 with a NVMe on the motherboard itself, but I'm running out of space, and I really don't want to use the 2 5.25-inch bays up here. So today we're upgrading from a Nanoxia Deep Silence 4 case to a Rosewill 12 bay in the front, which I'll show you better in a little bit. So today this video is about swapping all the components from in here over to there and then vertically rack mounting this, because this is a 4U rack mount. So in here we have 2 10 terabyte white label Western Digital drives that were shucked from the Easy Stores. Then 3 more of the 6 terabyte HQST NAS drives. Power supply is a Rosewill Photon 550 that I got on sale on Amazon. The cooler is an, what was it, Arctic Cooler 33, works perfectly fine. The motherboard is an ASRock H270 Pro 4 Mini ATX, I believe that's what it's called. 16 gigs of RAM and an i5 7500 CPU that's actually undervolted by what was it, 50 millivolts or so, and this setup right here, as it is, idles at about 25 watts when the hard drives are pretty much spun down, and at full tilt maybe like 55 watts. And I've had up to 6 transcodes at 1080p going down to like 720 or 480 running on this at one time with absolutely no hiccups. So all I need is more extra storage space, and I also want to get it out from where the TV was and put it down in the basement for the vertical rack mount. So that's why we're doing this today. So the first thing I want to get out of here actually is the power supply, the Rosewill Photon 550, and move that over to the new case. And the reason being is the 12 Hot-Swappable Bay'S, they don't use SATA connectors. They actually use the older Molexes. Well, since there are 6 connectors, 2 for each 4 bays, I went on Amazon again, yes, I always use Amazon, and bought these cables, which go from the 6-pin on the back of the modular power supply to 3 Molex connectors. The only problem, it was made for a Corsair, so I had to move 1 pin over. So I want to plug in the power supply and test them with a multimeter on here before I even plug in, so this way I don't blow hard drives or fans or anything. So that's what we're going to do first. Okay, so I got the power supply installed into the case, and I took the motherboard connector and shorted out these 2 pins right here, right next to your clip. So this way it forces it to turn on, and I got just the 3 connectors on the SATA connections on this power supply. So now we can test it and match it up with this pin out here, which is found on Wikipedia, which shows you which pin is which voltage. So let me make sure I wired it correctly first. So let's turn on the power supply. Yep, we got power. The fan kicked on. So let's pick one. Grab a Molex. Grab some cables. So if we're facing this way, pin 4 is 5 volts, the 2 centers are ground, and pin 1 is 12 volts. So I should have 5 volts right here. No, I got 12 volts. I messed that up. Do I have 5 volts over here? Nope, I got nothing. There's my 5 volts. For some reason that is over there. Okay, so these 2 are my grounds currently. Yep, those are my grounds. Okay, so I gotta flip 12 volts over to here and move 5 volts over. Okay, let me fix this and come back. Okay, so now that I have the pins set up correctly for my Molex connectors and the modular connectors, I wanted to see how loud or lack thereof there is with the 320mm fans they put on the back of the hard drive cages plus the two 80mm fans that they put on the back here. So I'm going to get up really close, but I'm telling you right now, even after my grandfather clock stops dinging away here, it's very quiet. I really don't know if the microphone is even picking them up. Let's go around to the front. And they are very quiet. This case is probably going to be just as quiet, or maybe even just a little bit more quiet than my Deep Silence case that I just came from, which is still right there. I haven't quite finished pulling everything out of it yet. So let's move on. Let's get the motherboard out and set the standoffs, the correct settings for them, and get the motherboard in here. So now we have the motherboard in, my extra cooling fan. I did re-add in my LSI SAS 9207. That's the only hardware change besides the case for this rebuild. And I have been powering 4 here, nothing over here yet because I need to get a SAS expander to add these last 4 bays in. And you'll see when I turn on, I don't know why, but all 4 of the lights turn on here. I don't have any hard drives in here at all. All the bays are still completely empty. Even down here, they are completely empty. So I don't know what's up with this 4 bay section. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. I have to look into it. But the cooling fan literally just fits. It will close with this on here by about 1/4 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch. That's all. So it does clear. All the cable management is done, and let's go ahead and power it on the cheap old screen here. I got a beep. Okay, I am in. Definitely need to work on some fan stuff because you see this one's barely even kicking on over. Maybe because it's in silent mode. But great, let me finish some BIOS settings in here, make sure everything's good, and then we're going to go ahead and start installing hard drives into the first 5 bays here. Okay, so I've had it running for at least 20 minutes now, and if you look over here in the corner, you can see the CPU temperature at 40.5 degrees Celsius, and motherboard temperature 28, CPU voltage at 0.960 volts, and it hasn't changed at all. So this is stable, just sitting here idle, no problems whatsoever. Let's go ahead and mount it in its home, and then we will go and take the hard drives, which I have piled right there in the new trays, and we'll install them afterwards. Okay, let's install it now on the 4U rack that I installed here down in the basement. Okay, let's get the cables connected down the bottom. Okay, now let's flip on the power and we'll test it one more time before we put all these hard drives in. I missed the BIOS. There's the beep. And there's the BIOS. Yep, perfectly happy. Of course, in the BIOS, there's no sleep states, really. It's always running at full power but idle type of deal. So, right now, with no hard drives, it's 54 watts without the screen turned on. Of course, with the screen on, it jumps up to 90 watts, but it's an old screen. It's not going to stay on for very long. So, let's turn it off and populate all the hard drives. Okay, let's turn it back on. And now I got 6 lights over here, These 4 are bad. These 2 are empty right now. Well, actually, all 6 of these are empty. And now we're going to boot up on the regular. I hear the hard drive's going. This is the first time I've also ran it for a while on the SAS card, so this is kind of new to me. It took an extra few seconds for the SAS card to be happy. And there we go. Looks like we're up and running. So let me go ahead and get my laptop and we'll get onto the web version, the web administration for Open Media Vault, and see what it's actually doing. Okay, so you can probably hear it running. It's still running perfectly fine, and it is pretty freaking quiet. It's nowhere near like a regular enterprise server that sounds like a little airplane going off. So let's go to Open Media Vault. Yep, we are back on. Let's check our disks. I don't use RAID. Where is it? File systems. They're all there, and that's also the new drive I just put in. I haven't even partitioned it or anything else. That's going to be my second parity drive. And they all seem perfectly fine. And there's my Merger FS at 5.84 terabytes available still. So, looks like everything is running perfectly, except for those 4 bays that are bad. So, I only got one other thing to show you real quick. And since everyone seems to want to name their servers something, whether it be Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, whatever. So I decided to name mine the Thanos server. Have a nice day. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't like it. See you next video.